सो वेलकम स्टूडेंट्स। इस क्वेश्चन में आपको एक फंक्शन दिया, इसका डोमेन निकालने के लिए बोल रहे हैं आपसे। यू आर आस्क्ड टू फाइंड द डोमेन ऑफ दिस फंक्शन एंड दिस फंक्शन। सो लेट अस स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस। डोमेन का मतलब है you just need to remove the problematic points. So this function is made up of there are two different functions in this function. So एक square root function है, एक 2 power x function है, and there is 2 power 1 minus x. If you write it as 2 by 2 power x and LCM लेने के बाद एक quadratic function भी आ सकता है. So effectively this function is made up of a square root function, an exponential function and a quadratic function. And before solving this, you have to know the constraints for all these three functions. So first, whenever you want to find the domain, go from outside to inside. So सबसे बाहर वाला function क्या है? सबसे बाहर वाला function जो है वो square root है. And you know that square root के अंदर जो भी expression है that cannot be negative. So हमारा कंडीशन क्या है? फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज 3 minus 2 power x minus 2 power 1 minus x is greater than or equal to 0. So this is your first condition. Now let us go inside again. So थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे. 2 power 1 minus x can be written as 2 by 2 power x. So 3 minus 2 power x minus 2 by 2 power x is greater than or equal to 0. So just to make it look nice, what we do is let 2 power x is equal to t माने से देखने में it will be better. So let us take the LCM. So 3 minus t minus 2 by t is greater than or equal to 0. LCM लेने से 3t minus t square minus 2 by t is greater than or equal to 0. न्यूमरेटर को एक माइनस से मल्टीप्लाई करता हूं. This implies t square minus 3t plus 2 by t is less than or equal to 0. So if this is greater than or equal to 0, एक माइनस से मल्टीप्लाई करने से the sign of inequality has got reversed. So this implies, so this is a basic rational function. So आप wavy curve method से rational inequality solve कर सकते हैं. So t square minus 3t plus 2 is nothing but t minus 1 into t minus 2 divided by t is less than or equal to 0. ठीक है. नाउ माई t इज नथिंग बट 2 power x. ठीक है. सो मेरा t जो है, वी नो दैट 2 power x इज ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव. यू हैव टू कीप दैट इन माइंड बिफोर सॉल्विंग दिस क्वेश्चन. सो इसको पहला वेवी कर्व ड्रॉ करेंगे. सो विल सी वेयर दिस एक्सप्रेशन इज लेस देन और इक्वल टू 0. सो वेवी कर्व ड्रॉ कर रहा हूं. एक पोल इज 0 एंड zeros are 1 and 2. So if you draw the wavy curve, it looks something like this. So where is this expression less than 0? एक 1 और 2 के बीच में नेगेटिव है, पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव. So t belongs to one option is 1 to 2 or it can be less than 0. Less than 0 is minus infinity to 0. So आपका t जो है minus infinity to 0 हो सकता है और 1 और 2 के बीच में हो सकता है. Now this implies, so हमारा final question is not to find t. Our final question is to find where x lies. ठीक है. So t का बैक सब्स्टिट्यूशन करेंगे. So 2 power x should belong to 1 to 2 or minus infinity to 0. This or this. But हम already देखा है कि 2 power x is always positive. So 2 power x cannot lie between minus infinity to 0. So ये इंटीग्रल आप छोड़ सकते हैं because it cannot, 2 power x cannot lie in this integral. So बचा है 2 power x has to lie between 1 and 2. So x कहां से कहां तक हो सकते हैं? Just देख लीजिए. 2 power x has to lie between 1 and 2. So x has to lie between ln log 1 and log 2 to the base 2. That is, x lies between log 1 is 0 and log 2 to the base 2 is 1. So x has to lie between 0 and 1 for this function to be defined. So that is what is called the domain. So इस function का domain क्या है? x belongs to closed 0 to 1. So the domain is 0 to 1. So एक बार just go through the process. So first we have started from outside. सबसे बाहर वाला function square root है. So square root के अंदर whatever term is there that has to be greater than or equal to 0. So we have simplified the expression. 2 power x को t मान लिया. t में rational function आ गया. Rational function का Wavy curve has been used. ठीक है, Wavy curve से आपको t का solution आ गया. And then finally we have done the back substitution. From that we have got the possible values for x. So the domain is closed 0 to 1. And let us look at this question. Next function given is root of 1 minus root of 1 minus x square. Okay. This is again a composite function made up of two functions. X square root and you have a quadratic function. 1 minus x square is a quadratic function. Square root दो बार है, doesn't really matter. We know the nature of square root and the nature of quadratic function. So let us start from the outermost function. So बाहर वाला square root के अंदर you have 1 minus root of 1 minus x square. So this has to be greater than or equal to 0. So this implies root of 1 minus x square should be less than or equal to 0. Root of 1 minus x square, if it is sent onto that side, आपको आएगा root of 1 minus x square is less than or equal to 0. ठीक है? So root of 1 minus x square, is less than or equal to 1. So root of 1 minus x square 1 से छोटा होना चाहिए. So obviously we know that 1 से कुछ number minus किया तो इसके बाद I'm taking the square root, it will always be less than or equal to 1. ठीक है? Root of 1 minus x square can never be more than 1. So there is no problem with this inequality. आपको just देखना है कि 1 minus x square has to be defined. 1 minus x square का square root, if it is defined, it will always be less than or equal to 1. So this implies आपको condition होगा 1 minus x square जो है 1 minus x square should be greater than or equal to 0. If 1 minus x square is greater than or equal to 0, 1 से तो छोटा तो होगा, so root तो 1 से छोटा हो जाएगा. This implies 1 is greater than or equal to x square. That is, x square is less than or equal to 1. So when will x square be less than or equal to 1? This is a very standard inequality. X belongs to minus 1 to plus 1. So अगर x minus 1 to plus 1 के बीच में है तो once you square it, the number will be less than or equal to 1. So 1 minus x square will be positive. Root of 1 minus x square will be less than or equal to 1. 1 minus root of 1 minus x square will be greater than or equal to 0. Hence, the final function will be defined. So what is the domain of this function? If you take f of x is equal to root of 1 minus of root of 1 minus x square, the domain will be minus 1 to plus 1. Thank you.